Hey man.
Hey, hey there.
Hey there, you.
You. Oh, is that Llamas with Cats reference?
Could be, since I have no idea what that is. I might have heard somebody mentioning that sometimes in the past, but I have no idea what that is.
Okay, then I won't spoil it for you, but Hey There You is probably one of the best jokes I have ever seen, and it's straight out from Llamas with Cats. I'll send you a link.
Excellent.
I'll send.
Link. Yes, link. Back from vacation, B.
Yes, I am. My skin is completely scorched, everything is pain, and I'm back.
Or should I say, holiday? Was it a holiday or a vacation?
What's the difference?
There is no difference, but there is a huge difference between you saying one or the other.
I don't know how to respond to this. Literally, the fuses in my brain simply went haywire. Like, what should I respond to this?
Yeah, so I was in an elevator today, right?
Great.
And it said something like this lift can support up to 6 persons.
Okay.
Kind of sounds funny when you say it like that. Lift.
Yeah, I was about to say, why are you saying lift as opposed to elevator, which you just said, literally?
Because one is American English and the other one is British English, just like vacation and holiday.
Really?
I think so. I think because I think in United States, when you say holiday, I think it's like, national.
Like public holiday.
Public holiday. Yeah, public. But when you're going to vacation, you took time off and you went to, I don't know,
Greece.
swim in the and enjoy the Greece seaside. But I think in England, for example, they would say they went to a holiday.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I didn't know about that. But okay, just to make everything perfectly clear, I went for a vacation. I took time off from my work and I went to recuperate my nerves.
Did you do it?
Yeah, and now I'm wasting them.
Crazy thing, I think you told me you were going by bus.
Yes, not the most prudent of decisions in the long run, because as all of you probably know, people get mangled in buses, especially if they try to sleep or there is some sleepy time in the bus itself. But this wasn't as bad as when I went to Barcelona with a friend of mine, because for some 11 days, I think we spent like 6 days in a bus, and it was like,
Oh,
never again.
I gotta say, I only have one experience, and it's also going to Greece by bus.
Okay.
And well, I'm not sure how long you've traveled to Greece, but my trip took 26 hours. And I really, really need to tell you this story.
Please do. Please do.
So I remember the road being super, super like windy, like a serpent.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just curve after curve. And the driver drove at night and he did not waste any gas. He was like speeding, like seriously speeding through it's like the good thing is everybody was sleeping, right? Except me, because I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I can't sleep in a bus. I can't sleep in a plane. I just can't sleep.
Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same.
So here I am, bored to hell in a bus which is literally like bouncing left to right, and everybody's sleeping, and you had to turn off the lights because people.
Yeah.
So you can't even read, and it was not a time of smartphones, so you can like watch a video, or tablets, or that you can again watch a video. So there's nothing one can do. And at one time I decide to just get up and walk a little bit, which you can imagine being quite a challenge when the bus is, constantly shaking.
Yeah.
But at one time, because I did not have anything to do, I ate what I had on me and I drank everything I had on me out of pure boredom.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Finally, I had to go pee.
Oh no. Okay.
So So B.
P. I'm P.
But this was the most ridiculous event of my past, man. I remember it so clearly just because of the sheer ridiculousness. So we're talking about a toilet that is on the bus, and I went in and everything was splashing around. I'm talking about people's freaking urine.
Oh man, you're
Like-
lucky if it was just urine.
Dude, that's what, like, I felt a single drop touch my hand and I freaked the hell out. I remember, like, doing my best to find a clean wipe. I can't lie to you, but it might have been the case that I stole a wet wipe from somebody
Yeah.
who was sleeping, because I don't remember that part. There's this recurring dream that I have of this urine chasing me through that freaking bus. I will never, ever forget that.
Okay, two things. Like riding on a bus that's going through serpentine roads. Yeah, that is a horror story for me because I would constantly imagine and envision different death scenarios with that. So I remember a status a friend of mine had on her Facebook profile. She simply put, God, please let me survive this taxi drive. I'll be good for the whole year, I promise. Hashtag I wanna live. And I have been laughing so hard about that status. And the second one, on my trip back from Lefkada, we had no money on ourselves. Not a single... So we only had 3 bottles of water, which is a stretch for 3 people. And we had absolutely no food. I tell you, like you said, you stole a clean wipe. I have never been so tempted to steal somebody's cookies or a bottle of water. Like...
Wow, that's a whole nother level.
Oh, yeah.
So this was now, right?
Yeah, this was now.
Wow. So you were penniless?
Okay, I'll tell you the whole story. Okay, so on the penultimate day before I was to leave in the evening, I realized that I haven't bought pistachios for my dad. So I get him a large bag, which he ordered, and it's 20 euros. I paid the 20 euros and I have absolutely no money on myself. Like, I have some spare change, but that's it. Okay, so the 3 of us go to bed, we wake up, and I realize that the 2 of them are in a very similar situation. So Nemanja, one of the guys I went with, he gives me 5 euros, and man, I didn't realize it at the time. I literally only realized it just now. But that was the widow giving her 2 coins in the temple donation box from the Gospels. Literally, like that was that scene.
That's all he had.
Practically. So we go to get gyros. How do you say it in English?
You have to say gyros, and there's no gyroses.
But yeah, the plural form sounds so weird in English.
Yeah, because it's also gyros.
Yeah.
Us, the 2 mouses.
Yeah, the 2 flesh-eating mouses. Mouses. No. Okay, I didn't even realize what I was saying. Oh man. Okay, mice.
Yes.
So anyway, each one of us gets 1 gyros. And you will agree that it's pretty messed up, getting only 1 gyros.
Hey, wait. So, what's the price of gyros in Lefkada
It is
these days?
It is 2 euros and 80 cents, which is 30 cents more expensive than what it is in Corfu. So it is.
I like Corfu.
Oh, I like it a lot, and my favorite saint ever is there. So I'm biased, but anyway. So each one of us gets 1 exact gyros. And what did I do with the 5 euros the man gave me? I went and bought a magnet. I'm an idiot.
Yes. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
And it's so beautiful.
For whom?
For me. I'm so going to hell. That thing is going to hang in my hell cell.
Oh my god.
And it's such a cute thing. It has these daisies and it says, bless the flowers and the bumblebees, all the plants and all the weeds.
You spent somebody else's last money on that.
so
Oh, you are really
no, no.
next
So it's not
level.
even my less money. It's somebody else's less money for me. So anyway, we get on the bus. I'm intentionally leaving a part out because it's funny to see Nemanya's reaction to what is transpiring. And he says, Boyan, give me those gyros bread loaves you have bought a couple of days ago. And I say, but it is in the truck compartment of the bus. So he's like, you didn't put it in your backpack? I tried to, but it was so big. My beach towel was so big that I couldn't fit it in the trunk, so I had to put it in the backpack. So I put the bread in the truck compartment, and he starts banging his head against the seat, and he's like, "You're an idiot! You're an idiot! Why didn't we boil those 6 eggs we had in the morning? Why didn't we? Why did we throw them away?" And they say, "We didn't throw them away. We didn't? No, I gave them to the villa manager." You're an idiot. Why didn't you boil them? Yeah, and I gave them the tomatoes. Yeah, the tomatoes. And that tuna can of yours. Boyan, we could have had a tuna can right now. So, like,
Wait, couldn't you ask somebody to give you some food?
I felt really embarrassed. It was pride at its best. Yes, it was
Wonder.
pride at its best. Like, hey, can you give me some food? Oh, I mean, I can't imagine myself saying it out loud for some reason.
Oh,
I should be able to say it, but I can't imagine myself saying it.
really?
Yeah.
That's
Shut
new.
up.
So you're hungry and you're an idiot because you just bought the magnet
Yeah.
for 5
Yeah.
euros
Yeah.
or whatever. And you would be embarrassed to ask for food?
Well, at the moment, I am without food for about 8 or 10 hours. So it's not like I was 24 hours. At the 24 hours, maybe I would have, begged for food. But at the moment, not really. I was just, nervous and angry at everybody, but not actively aggressive and sabotaging the bus.
That's about pretty much when somebody's hungry.
Yeah, oh yeah. So wait. We stand at the first stop, and the guy's like, "Hey guys, we're going to stop at this gas station. The toilet is 50 cents." And I get so angry. I get so angry. Oh man, I wished all the ills of the world to befall on that gas station. Like, I half-heartedly wished that I hear an explosion as we leave. Thank God.
Okay, I have to interrupt you for just a second. Because you're a bad
Absolutely.
person. You're a bad mouse. So I just had this vision in my head as you were talking. So this guy is with his friends, last day of vacation, taking their last money, buying a shiny thing, then being embarrassed to ask for food, and then there's this stop in the middle of nowhere where everybody stops to refuel, pee, and
eat.
Eat, and like he's like, God, please destroy this place.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. What is the point that you're trying to make exactly?
Oh dear God. Well, there's so much material for your next confession.
Oh, definitely. Oh man.
That's a fat notebook of material.
But it is fascinating how everything is intertwined there, like rage, greed, gluttony, despair, pride, like all the sins, all except lust.
Yeah, but that's very complicated. If you look at from my perspective, of course, if you look at confession, like, if your approach is, I need a technical manual, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just think it's a bit complicated. I know people who are like, when they are, go to confession, they're like, I confess. Like, what do you everything. I was bad. And then, the priest would have to be like, do you, repent for all your sins? Yeah, sure.
Well, they do. So
yeah, no, I'm just saying there's many forms of confession. But I since we're at
Yeah.
the topic, I remember this wonderful, wonderful priest. He passed away a couple of years ago in his like 96th or
Oh, I
97th year
know
of
whom you're
life.
talking about. Yeah, yeah,
You
for
know,
the
yeah.
cemetery priest.
Yeah, he's just such a wonderful person, And funny fact, he was also when he was a bit younger, a priest in the birth town of my
Oh,
late mother, and I kind of felt this connection, even though I
yeah.
never knew him in personal, but I did once go to a confession.
Oh, I
Um,
know where this is going. I know his issues with confession. Do go on.
no, there's no issues. I'm just there was this that he was the only priest
Mm-hmm.
who like literally hugged me,
Oh,
s- sat down with me, hugged me in the church, and asked me like, brother, speak what's on your mind and what's on your heart and what's on your soul. I was like, wow, and I really did. It poured and it poured from me, and I just such a wonderful
oh
person,
yeah.
and he listened, he commented, spoke to me, and you're talking to a 90 plus year old person, very wise. Sorry I had to insert this, but really it was
I'm
such an
pretty sure that he's a
experience.
saint. Like, I'm like 100% sure.
God
Hmm?
knows, man. God knows, only
Yeah,
God
but only
knows.
God knows that he definitely is a saint.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, this is how people decide that somebody's a saint. You have very persistent guys just pushing it until fruition.
Oh yeah.
But everybody's a saint. Everybody who's in the kingdom of
Yeah.
God is a saint. That's supposed to be everybody's goal, to become a
Yep.
saint, right?
Hope we get there.
Yeah, not everybody though wants to be a quote unquote recognized saint. For people to sing songs about them and all that. Anybody coming to mind? Pete?
Well, imagine
Anybody with a saint complex?
well, imagine listening the same thing over and over until the end of days. Not
Hmm.
fun. Oh, imagine how the poor mother of God, how many Hail Marys does she have to listen every day?
Blasphemy alert. In any case, let's go back to vacation
Okay.
topics because you're taking this too far,
Of
as
course.
usual.
If I don't take it too far, I didn't take it anywhere. So,
FYI, my 26-hour
yeah.
long travel was to
Really?
Corfu. Yeah, it also included a 2 hours ferry.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Ferry
Well,
ride.
but when you're on a ferry, that is pretty much the end of it. You can see the end in sight. So even though Lefkadi is very close to Corfu, I don't think we traveled for 26 hours. But yeah.
Yeah, but the roads are also
Yeah.
different now than they
Oh,
were
oh yeah.
like this was more than 10
Oh
years
yeah.
ago. And
No, we
go
were
ahead.
making so many breaks that at one point, this woman joked that half of the time we were making breaks and half of the time we were actually traveling. So that we could have been so much faster if we didn't take all those breaks.
Well, I will tell you this. You're complaining about breaks right now.
You would
And I'll
have
tell you
killed. You would have killed for a break then.
absolutely. But things are a bit different now because uh, about a month and a half ago, I went to Austria via
Okay,
car. I drove there with my entire family, including my two little small children.
fun.
One of them who was recently being potty trained,
Okay.
and now all she wants is to pee. And you have to carry potty with her,
Yeah.
and a trip that is supposed to be 5.5 to 6 hours long turns out to be a 10-hour long drive
Oh man.
because you have to stop gazillion times, and she's also gonna pee on the child seat,
Yeah.
which we obviously have ways of dealing with, but you still have to stop.
Yep.
So that was quite a hard. That was like our first trip with the kids. It
And
was a bit
last.
longer. No, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna go to Montenegro by car. But we took this trip and we were
Oh.
like, time to learn. and we most certainly learned. It was a horror trip, especially because a part of it got us through Vienna. And while I loved the city, when I back in 2015 when I visited without the car,
Yeah.
I hate that city
Now.
right now. Like it's ridiculous. But that is a story for another time. I wanted to tell you about Corfu.
Okay.
10 plus years ago, you needed a visa to enter Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And there was such a thing called the group visa, which they would issue to, traveling groups. And when you go to a travel agency and book, travel and accommodation for Greece, you would be a part of a group visa. Okay.
Yeah.
So, two things I remember very, very clearly from that trip. One, when we were going from Serbia to Greece, is the guide who was in the bus told us two things. One, there is a way to go back individually, outside of the group,
Okay.
even though we were told that's not possible. And the second is don't go to Kavos.
Yeah, I know the place.
Yeah, which we're gonna revisit. His description of that is Kavos is the place where you will see the
Sodom and Gomorrah.
well, that was my comment, but his comment is like you will see how far human stupidity can go. Like it went the farthest in that place. That was his comment. Of course, my thought was I have to go there, which I did. But we'll go there. The first thing I wanted to share was when I wanted to go back because I was traveling alone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was supposed to travel back alone in the bus where I knew nobody, which was quite a challenge. Trust me, to be on a 20-plus-hour trip without knowing a single soul in the
Yeah.
bus. I decided to go back with my friend because he was already in Greece. We actually spent the summer together in Corfu, and his father wanted to pick us up and drive us back, right?
Okay.
And he did. He picked us up, and the guide, I checked like 5 times with him. He gave me a photocopy of that group visa thing. And of course, they did not let me pass the border.
Oh no.
And we left much earlier than the bus was supposed to leave. So I spent around 12 hours waiting for the bus on the border. So you can imagine how long the trip back was for me. And of course, I did not have that much money. So I had to, figure out a way how to eat, and drink and all that.
Oh man, that's bad.
Yeah, but it's quite the memory for me, to be honest with you, especially because of the specific period that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
But let's, to cheerier topics, Kavos. You went there, right?
No, but
No.
No. But I had no opportunity to go, but I was so tempted to see what on earth is happening over there.
It will be my pleasure
Please do.
to introduce you to my vision of Kavos 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
So, of course, I remember what the guy told me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I met my friend, we were actually, it was like 3 Greek friends of ours and the 2 of us. So it was 5 of us in total. And we were basically spending the summer together. And the Greeks, they didn't know anything about Kavos. They were from a different place
Mm-hmm.
in Greece. And my friend also knew nothing about it. And when I told him, I was basically told to avoid that. There was, 5 people who are now very interested in going there. So we rented a car to drive, across the island. It's a pretty small island.
Yeah.
So it was fun to, drive across it and find different beaches. And one day we drove to Kavos, and we drove by day. And it was this wonderful, peaceful town with so many, coffee shops and restaurants, and we had lunch. It was wonderful.
Before you go on, you remind me of that Looney Tunes episode where Porky and Sylvester come to this abandoned town.
Oh, bro.
Where it looks so peaceful,
Oh my
but it is one of the scariest things I have ever seen in my life. That episode, it will mess you up if you see it as a kid. Because there are these murderous mice all over the city who are trying to kill them all the time. And how you describe Kavos, despite its reputation, is what it reminds me of.
Well, not all mice in this world are,
Good
you know,
mice.
nice little church mice.
Yes.
But anyways, since we left Kavos with such a good impression, we decided to go back in the evening,
When all hell breaks loose.
like literally. So we're entering the city, okay? The let's call it broad center of the city. Suddenly, there is, and I apologize for using the word, but there is a shit ton of people.
Okay.
There is the like suddenly we basically drove our car into a crowd, and we're like, okay, we need to go back, but then immediately you get surrounded by that crowd because they're just running wild, and they started pummeling the car,
Oh man.
and you're like, what the hell? This makes no sense. Whoa. So finally, somehow we managed to park the car through the crowd back to that street outside of the Broad Center, and we like should we leave the car here? These guys look crazy. But okay, let's move forward. So
Smart.
so I need to tell you, have you ever been to a pub, like a
Mm,
real pub?
Does the Irish pub in Belgrade count?
No, that's classy in terms of what a pub is.
No.
A pub smells.
Okay.
Okay? You smell beer everywhere. You smell, beer, but it's smelly beer because it's
Yeah,
there, soaking the floor. That's how the entire city smelled. Okay? But
Nice.
we were outdoors, and that's how it smelled. There's so many people, and everybody was drunk. Believe you can believe me, or you can decide not to, but we've seen people having relations on the street.
Okay.
Like when you say Sodom and Gomorrah, that's exactly what this is.
Oh, wow.
Okay? That's exactly what this is. We sat down to eat in KFC because, you have to have a KFC in that. And by the way, the situation is so great. All those people, right? They're all British.
Okay.
Like they're all British. With almost no exception. And there's no police anywhere to be found, but there are several outposts of ambulances,
Oh man, no.
which are constantly full of people, and there's a queue because there's a lot of people with just injuries.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is it just alcohol poisoning, or there are like physical trauma and cuts and bruises and
Cuts and bruises,
Oh,
cuts
wow.
and bruises. You can imagine us, 5 people, just walking through all of that. But finally, we sat we sat into that KFC and ordered, a bunch of chicken
Yeah,
wings or something.
chicken.
And there were 2 drunk British girls, like pretty close to us. And they were so drunk, they would take their chicken wing and try to throw it into our bowl. all the while
Free
laughing like
chicken.
crazy, and when we would look at them, they would be like, did you see the bird flying? I will never forget that,
Oh man.
ever.
Okay. I okay. Oh, that's a good one.
But the night ended with us singing karaoke.
As it
Karaoke.
as it happens.
Yeah, obviously. And we just went back. Fortunately, the car, everything was fine. Nobody, demolished it or something. But we were genuinely afraid.
Oh wow.
What I saw there, like I wasn't able to fully comprehend the story of Sodom and Gomorrah before I went there. Like I'm telling you, in all seriousness, you can't, what has been seen cannot be unseen.
Oh true.
You know
Oh,
that.
true.
So
Okay, I think I've only had two pretty bad vacations. One with a church friend.
Oh, I know that one.
Okay, I'll just put a couple of highlights. I don't want to spam with the whole story. In essence, we were supposed to go on a vacation with his best man, but the best man canceled. And at one point, he said, "Hey, my parents have leased these apartments in Polychrono. Let's go there. It's a huge apartment. We'll barely see them." Footnote: they were like shadows to us. They were there all the time. And one of my favorite events, like we were going back to the apartment because his mother and father were with us all the time, like all the time. And what I found most annoying was that he was perfectly fine with that. Like at no point did he say, "Hey, let us go our separate ways." No, he was perfectly fine with that, which is what I found most annoying. And at one point we were going back home, and his father says, "Boys, do you want to have gyros for lunch?" And you're like, "Yay!" So he goes and buys gyros, and we sit at the kitchen table, so there's 4 of us, and he takes out 2 gyros. And I was about to ask, "But what will the 2 of you have for lunch?" And then he pulls out a knife. He separates 1 gyros for him and his wife, and cuts in half the other gyros for the 2 of us. I have to ask you honestly, is it normal to eat half of a gyros? I know that eating 2 is maybe of an overkill, but is eating a half of gyros sane?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. And I'll spare you everything else. It's all just, little funny stuff. It wasn't horrible, but it was funny in retrospect. But my favorite part is that friend of mine told me, like, "Hey, why should we return with bus? My parents are here with car. Let's go by car."
Yeah, always a good idea.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. If only I knew. So I canceled the bus ticket. And a day before the trip, the friend asked me, "Did you prepare a towel?" And by that time, I learned to dread any questions whose significance I wasn't sure of. And this was definitely such a case. And I was like, "No, why?" "For the sweat." Okay, so imagine this. We're leaving Polychrono at 11 a.m. So we're going through the most horrible sun in a car that has no air conditioning because the entire family hates air conditioning. We haven't turned on the air conditioning at all, and they hated the draft, So we're in that car, we're sweating. Actually, we're sweating, and in addition to that, I'm dying. So I'm trying to make myself fall unconscious with exhaustion, but I'm feeling miserably. So at one point, his father, in his mercy, he asks, "Hey, B, are you feeling all right?" And I'm like, "Can you please open the window a little bit?" Yeah, we were driving with closed windows. So he opens his window.
No, that's not possible.
Oh, no, trust me, it is
No,
possible.
that's not possible. It's impossible.
Oh, it's possible if you learn how. So he opens the window like half of an inch. And he turns again and, "Son, are you fine with this?" And his son says, "Well, it's okay." I never wanted to strangle somebody so hard at that time. Like, oh man. Oh man, it was a pain. It was a pain. It was a pain in every possible conceivable manner.
I gotta say, it's worse than me waiting on the border. That's worse. Like that's hell you don't put people through.
Well, we can't discuss that because the hell you went through is the hell of uncertainty, and this was the hell of torment. So which one's worse, I don't know. At least I knew that mine wasn't hell, mine was purgatory. I knew that my hell would end. Yours, well, it did, but did you know it at the time? You didn't. So
purgatory. That's so Roman Catholic of you.
Yeah, classic me. Oh man.
Yeah, I would see no point. But that's just me.
Oh yeah. But the point is, I survived, and honestly, I feel so bad talking about it because his parents were nice, they were trying, to be considerate, but they simply had a different mode of operation to my family, and it
And
didn't
the
click.
general public.
And the general public. So it didn't click in the end. But I learned my lesson. At that moment, I
Yes.
realized that it is far better to vacation completely alone than to go with somebody's family, which you don't know. If I knew them, okay, maybe I would know what to expect. But
You were lured with false promises.
well, it wasn't false promise. I mean, he said my parents are there. Let's go there, and I was like, okay, well, yeah. He did tell me that we won't see his parents at all. Oh man.
Yeah. By the way, if you remember, taking a trip similar to that was literally how you and I met.
Really?
Yeah, we more or less took a trip together. We didn't know each other that much before that.
I don't think we knew each other at all, but as far as I can recall, it all went fine.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not comparing it in that sense.
Oh, okay,
I'm just saying, there's different ways these things can go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
it is a bit of a risk. And for example, I tried to invite a friend of mine to Lefkada, so there will be 4 of us. There was no way for me to convince him because he had such horrible vacations, and most of his vacations were completely horrible that he has sort of developed, a syndrome. So-
Yeah,
so-
and I understand that.
yeah. So
I had, honestly, I had good experiences in general. Not counting the trip to Corfu or back.
yeah.
That was a wonderful vacation for me. But this time when I went to Austria,
Okay.
recently, that was the one and only trip to, abroad that I almost completely regretted.
Oh wow.
It was so hard. It was just so hard. But you know what? With parenting,
Yeah.
you always have to go through things to, experience them before you can really know, you can read only so many blog posts and watch so many videos or read so many books, but nothing prepares you for the real thing. That's pretty much life for you, not just parenting. But, I did not expect that will be that hard.
Oh,
So-
yeah. In fact, I have a friend, and I love her to bits, but she was pregnant until recently. She has become a mother, and before the birth, she had a plan to go with her husband and their practically newly born child by car to Cambodia.
Okay.
Can you imagine the amount of shards that her plan burst into as soon as she gave birth? Like-
Yeah, I actually can. Yeah, because I remember so many plans
Mhm.
simply being, blown to pieces.
Oh man.
But I'm actually happy she didn't go to Cambodia with a newborn. That's not acceptable.
I think that with a newborn, no amount of travel anywhere is acceptable.
Absolutely. It's not Cambodia. It's just, traveling. It's not okay. You have to be very careful with such a small child.
But you still traveling to Cambodia with car is extreme, even with adults. Much
Yeah, I can
less a
imagine.
child.
It's ridiculous. No, it's so ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing we just mentioned, including Kavos and you people driving with their windows. It's just impossible.
Well, at least I know how a heat death looks like. I had a foretaste, so.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you had a great vacation
Oh.
this year.
Thank you,
I'm looking forward to having one myself.
and I hope you do
How
too.
how long was it?
Mine was 10 days.
Unacceptable.
Like too much?
No, I'm gonna be 14 days, and I'm, God willing, I will cut, ties with, internet and people. I'll just
Right.
go.
I have spent literally 3 whole days playing Kingdom Rush. No regrets whatsoever. And
Yeah, I was thinking about bringing my gaming laptop and playing Minecraft, but it's too big.
well, okay, if it's too big, then it's fine. But if you go with the mentality of, oh no, I'm going to rest, I'm going to, unwind, I don't want to bring technology, you will regret that instantly.
No, I'll bring tech.
You know that comic, Heart and Brain?
Heard of it?
Okay, so Heart and Brain are like at this beautiful, picturesque viewpoint, and they observe this like something along the lines of Rocky Mountains, USA,
Okay.
and they're like, "This is so beautiful," and they watch it for 5 minutes, and then the heart is like, "Where's the Wi-Fi?" And the brain is like, "I need coffee."
Yeah, I know that. I know we are junkies
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Like serious junkies. Like the question that you need to ask yourself if you want to know if you're a junkie,
Yeah.
if you're hooked onto internet and online content and video/audio content, can you fall asleep without watching videos or listening to music?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Actually, during the vacation at the moment, because my phone is wasting power really fast, I took up praying rosary to pass time.
You did it to pass time.
Yeah, like the Mother of God was like, "You're not fooling anybody."
Oh dear God.
Yeah, and
You're so bad, man.
yeah, and one more thing. Those annoying questions that old people have all the time. When are you getting married? When are we getting the grandkids? When are you getting the other?
Is there something cooking?
Yeah. Generally, I find those questions very annoying. But I had a moment of illumination in my internet-deprived frenzy at Lefkada. Like, those people don't have the internet. Like, those questions for them are what we use internet for. To check out other people's lives, to pass time. And I was like,
Yeah, well,
I'm onto
regarding
something.
those questions, I remember my father never being satisfied with me. I was like, when I enrolled college, I was like, look, man, I enrolled college. It took some work for me to get there. Be happy. No, you have to finish college. Okay, I finish college. I get a job. Look, I finished college. I have a job. Nah, you're not married. There's no children. I need grandchildren. But honestly, you know what? When he got his first grandchild,
Yeah.
my daughter,
Yeah.
he doesn't care about me anymore. I'm absolutely irrelevant. Like, dude, he will walk into my apartment
Yeah.
and he would just start playing with her, not even saying hi. I'm like, hey, Dad, can we talk? Is there anything you're not approving or something? Like, what the hell? But so that's one way of dealing with those questions.
Okay.
I'm not being suggestive or anything. I'm just saying that's one way. There's probably multiple ways.
Oh, yeah. By the way, my father was like when we still had a dog, and he would come home, and the dog would go towards him, and my dad once said, "Ah, Cedo, you're the only living being who's happy to see me," and I'm like, face palming, "Dad, when you come home, you're like, Cedo, where's my Cedo? Where's my little Cedo?"
Exactly. Exactly.
Cedo. Boy, why is your room a mess? Of course that I'm not happy to see you. Like,
Yeah.
literally from the doorstep, he's like, why is the light turned on? Why is the light turned off? Why is the room a mess? Why is this room too tidy and so on?
Yeah, but didn't you have a cat?
I-
In the past?
Yeah, I did, and she died too.
Yeah. So a cat and a dog simultaneously, or
Oh no,
was it?
no.
Uh-huh.
We got a cat in 2000, and she died in 2011, and we got the dog at 2016, and he died last year, practically
How come?
by death.
I mean, did you get like an old dog?
No. We got him as a puppy, and honestly,
Oh.
I hope that both of them would live longer, but no. I think that it was because they were purebred. She was a silver Persian chinchilla cat, and he was a Maltese. So I assume that that is the reason why. I mean, they had all the proper care and everything, and all the love, but they didn't last longer than practically a decade.
Yeah, but I thought you said I kind of concluded that the dog lived for like a year and a half.
Oh no. He lived for like 12 years.
Okay, because you said you got him at 2016. So you might
Oh
have,
no. So sorry, 2006. 2000.
yeah.
I messed up.
Then it makes sense. But I actually remember that cat, and I
Yeah.
remember you referring to her as the queen.
She was literally. She was like she knew that she was purebred. She knew that she was rare, and she used every moment of it. Like
Yeah, I also remember seeing something online back in the day, like Diary of a Dog
oh
versus
yes.
Diary of a Cat.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm referring to?
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, something like, dog. Like, where's the owner? When's the owner coming back from work? There he is, Horner, back from work. Yeah. Oh, food. Like,
Mm-hmm.
completely crazy. And there's like cats, diary. Day 1081 of my captivity. Today, the two-legged captors of mine trimmed my nails, and I had the female servant bring me food. Something like that.
Day 1062 of my captivity. The bird is in cahoots with the captors. They keep talking all the time.
Exactly. Like whoever thought of that is a pure genius, because
and
it
it's
has to be,
totally true.
like-
It's totally true. By the
Yeah.
way, one of the most heartbreaking things I ever saw was the dog after the cat died.
Oh yeah.
He knew that she was gone forever, but he kept looking for her, and it was like, oh, please stop.
Yeah, dogs are like that,
And the cat loved the dog. The two of them literally had Garfield OD relationship.
Yeah,
Totally,
yeah.
100%. So,
Hey, millennials, do you know who Garfield is?
is he a YouTuber? Says every millennial ever.
Let's end this episode on a positive note.
Positive note. Positive note.
It was a pleasure talking to you again.
You too.
Let's keep doing this a bit more often, and let's remind people that they should. What's the formula? Share, like, subscribe,
donate.
Oh yeah, there's Patreon to buy us a producer. No, not buy a producer. You can't buy a human
Oh,
can
oh
you?
no. I learned the great expression to fray the producer.
To fray?
Yeah, it is to relieve the costs of something. So like we're paying for him, but it would be great if you guys were paying for him.
Yeah. Anyways, we found a good guy, so he's good. Also costs money.
That's quality
gonna
for
pay
you. That's
for
quality
everything.
for you.
I also wanted to let everybody know that you can actually leave us a voicemail on our website, churchmouse.show. You can actually leave us a voicemail. And if you want to be on the podcast for any reason, if you just want to say something real quick, we'll be happy to facilitate that. Just leave us a voicemail because it's cool.
And we hope to see you here.
Or hear you here. We hope to hear you here. Positive note.
Bye, Em.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I really like this positive note of saying goodbye to you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.